Speaker, I wish to turn my attention to the National Employment Program. The NEP continues to provide an avenue for Dominicans to work hard, gain experience, and positively contribute to their institutions and the country by extension. The genesis of this program was to tackle the issue of youth unemployment. This is exactly what this program is doing. Scores of Dominicans have graduated out of this program and have found jobs across all sectors, both in Dominica and out. Today, we have seen the National Employment Program grow by leaps and bounds, impacting positively both public and private sector and across all levels. Mr. Speaker, the NEP also provides much needed direction for young people in the area of career development. I consider myself a proud product of the National Employment Program. Fresh out of the Dominica State College, I had the opportunity to work as an intern with the then Ministry of Commerce. There I found my passion for business development. I then left Dominica to further my study, build my knowledge and capacity, and came back to develop my country in that field. Had it not been for the NEP and the direction that it provided me, there is a possibility that I may have never found my true calling. Now, Mr. Speaker, my story is not unique. There are countless other individuals, young people, who have had similar experiences. Persons who entered the world of work, probably interning as a junior accountant, developed a passion and went on to make that their career path. This is just another way that this program continues to impact the lives of so many. The NEP has a budget allocation of $9.5 million. This means that a further $9.5 million will be circulated in the Dominican economy. Many more Dominicans will continue to be positively impacted in their own unique way. Mr. Speaker, I've heard in the past people try to downplay segments of the NEP as less important than others. However, as a young man, I see equal value in everything. Every single job is important. You could be the cleaner or the general manager. Both these positions keep the organization going. The cleanup and beautification teams across the island are a vital component in the development of our country. Our tourism product, for example, when we speak about keeping Dominica clean and green. And at no time should we make these hard-working young men and women feel any less than one of us here in this honorable house.
Hello, and welcome to another edition of Anupale. Today has been very hot, a very hot day. I think one of the hottest days for the year so far. We just listened to our Deputy Speaker, Honorable Roll, who I thought gave an excellent presentation in his contribution to the 2020-2021 budget. And just an excerpt of his half an hour contribution, speaking and highlighting about the National Employment Program, a program which was conceived and launched, I believe, in 2009, and has been with us since then, continues to provide employment for so many of our Dominicans, and I must say that the NEP, in large measure, has met its objectives. And I give a firm commitment on behalf of the government that the NEP will continue. It has success stories, and every NEP in turn continues to make a tremendous contribution to our country's development. And I am particularly pleased with the community aspect of the NEP. Those of us who engage in keeping our communities clean and beautiful, and no doubt you've seen an improvement in the cleanliness and the beauty of our country. And I'm hoping that many more of us will play our part in keeping our country, our communities, our villages clean and beautiful. As you know, last week I presented the national budget in the Parliament with several measures designed to transform our economy into the dynamic Dominica that we promised during the December 2019 general elections. Under the theme, The Road to Dynamic Dominica, Fostering Economic Resilience, the budget sought to empower people with new opportunities to grow their livelihoods and contribute to national development. There are new ideas for investments in various fields of endeavor, including in manufacturing and agro-processing, construction, and entrepreneurship. We have also allocated funds to cushion the impact of COVID-19 pandemic on the economy. The destination marketing budget for tourism was increased, and allocations made for continuing investment in agriculture, health, and education. We are also boosting our resilience to disaster with the monthly deposits of $500,000 to the Vulnerability, Risk, and Resilience Fund, which has been set up at the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank, a fund which has been established by the government of Dominica for times of need, as we say, for rainy days. We have decided, and we will start putting this $500,000 from October 1, 2020, and continuing every month thereafter. Further, major capital projects will be undertaken to include the international airport, road enhancement, rehabilitation of one of the Hillsborough bridges. As you know, one of the bridges got impacted by the hurricane, and it will cost us some $14 million to rebuild. This will be built with the elements in mind, and certainly when it is constructed, it will be able to withstand any natural disaster, as we've seen with other bridges that we've constructed since Tropical Storm Erica. We'll also be engaging in a feasibility study of the road from the St. Mary's Bridge in Hatton Garden all the way to Borough Square. That is being financed by the Kuwaiti government. This is a prerequisite for the actual construction of the road, and we're looking to see how we can shorten the distance between that bridge and Borough Square in Portsmouth. So this contract has been signed, and we look forward to the completion of the feasibility study. We're also making progress on the Lube to Bacatel Road. As you know, this project was conceptualized after Tropical Storm Erica. It was well on its way, but we were held back as a result of Hurricane Maria, which created an additional challenge for us, especially in the Pishley area. And so we had to go through a complete redesigning of that project. Once that design was completed, the cost came up much larger than what we had, and then we're now doing some fine-tuning the designs. I'm hoping that we can push so that much needed project can commence. And my friends and family down from Lube and Bellevue and Pishley and Bacatel and Stowe and Fab and Grand Bay and all the wonderful communities that could benefit from a much more improved roadway. Of course, this is only a summary of the many initiatives announced. And on today's program, I wish to discuss the budget in depth with you, the general public. Because as you know, if I were to speak to every single measure in the budget during my budget speech, I would literally take a day, over 24 hours, because we only highlight in my budget speech some salient projects and programs, but there are many other projects and programs, some of which are continuing, and some of which are new programs to be effected for the benefit of all our citizens and residents. So I will spend the next 2 hours discussing with you the many opportunities for Dominica and Dominicans as well. I will take your calls. I look forward to getting your calls. Also, you can send us WhatsApp messages. The telephone numbers are 611-3400, 611-3400, and 225-3400, 225-3400. So we will hear from you during the course of today, and I would like to take as many calls as possible and also WhatsApp messages so we can have a conversation. You could seek clarification on some of the measures that we've put in place, and whatever questions you want to ask of me in respect to the budget, feel free to do so. Now, the budget, as I said, captured a number of new measures to stimulate the economy. I'm also happy you could join me this evening to bring greater context to these proposals. For example, due to the impact of COVID-19, we are seeing a reversal of the positive outlook for the economy. Just in January, the IMF predicted expansion of 5.5% growth for Dominica in 2020. So we were doing very well. And that was on the heels of a 9.6% growth, unprecedented in Dominica, unprecedented in our country. And in large measure, it was due to the government's policies and programs. We invested, we spent on housing, on infrastructure, on education, on health, to ensure that we could sustain jobs and to ensure that we did not go into recession, and to ensure that we did not reverse the gains that we had made prior to Hurricane Maria, to ensure that we do not descend into a state of poverty, and which has been the case for many countries that have had disasters like Dominica, not even to the extent, because we just had Erica, 90% of our GDP was impacted. Then here comes Maria, 226%. Any country in the world, big or small, who would have been impacted by 226% of your GDP, you would have gone under. We thank God for His mercies and for His blessings, because it is through Him, because of Him, we're able to achieve these things. And sometimes we take these things for granted in Dominica. All of our students stayed at universities. And in that year, we paid $23 million for students studying overseas. $23 million. We did not only keep every public servant in job, we also paid the salaries of dozens of private sector employees for months to ensure that they could have eaten the bread, and to ensure that they could have taken monies to their families and be able to buy food, and to ensure that they could have paid their mortgages, their rent. And we have done so not because we had an obligation to doing so. We fixed people's homes, thousands of homes in Dominica, and in quick time. Providing grants to people to fix their homes, and we did so because we are a government that cares. So it was predicted by the IMF for economy to grow in 2020 by 5.5%. And that also is an unprecedented number in Dominica. And the succeeding years, there would also have been positive growth in the economy. But that what we have done in this budget is to recognize that the entire world is grappling with an unprecedented challenge. I mean, I was just watching the news there, and 6 million Americans are relying on food stamps to survive, to ensure that they can have a breakfast or dinner. And some 32 million people are still registered for unemployment benefits. And this is the story everywhere else in the world. And different governments have tried different measures, different stimulus packages to see whether they can, one, consolidate and sustain what's happening, but also to grow the economies. And I thank God for the blessings that He has provided to us, that notwithstanding COVID, For example, in the NEP, as was said earlier, between January and July month end, we have paid out $22.5 million under the NEP. $22.5 million. And for seniors 17 over, the allowance for seniors 17 over, $5.6 million in January and July. And for the financial year, that is to say from July 1 to June 30th, we spent some $37 million on the NEP. $37 million was invested, and that is money in people's pockets, tax-free. There's no income tax imposed on the NEP employees, except for their Social Security deductions. And so we continue to commit ourselves to reaching out to people. And so in respect to tourism, as I said, we have increased our budget for marketing to $13 million because we would like to ensure that our name, our country's name, is known, it continues to be known out there. Dominica has particular advantages, I believe. People who want to escape from the trials and tribulations of their countries, Dominica is a safe place to come, obviously following the international protocols. We are working with airlines. We have provided licenses to a number of airlines to fly into Dominica, Air Antilles, Inter-Caribbean, One Caribbean. We've also provided licenses, I believe, to SVG Air, who wants to fly out of Canefield. I spoke to the Prime Minister of Antigua today on the LIAT reorganization. He and I will have a further meeting tomorrow to discuss the reorganization of LIAT. I want to thank him for his efforts. Because one of the important things about, there's a call, please. Hello, caller. Hello? No? Okay. Now, one of the things, why it is so important for us to support the LIAT reorganization is that we need to ensure that there is a connection between Dominica and Antigua and Barbuda. That's a major connection for us. With so many of our citizens resident in Antigua and Barbuda, family and friends in Antigua and Barbuda. And Antigua and Barbuda is a major market for fresh produce. And our hucksters have to fly in there, in and out of Antigua, to pile their trade. And so for a number of reasons, we have to ensure that we support this initiative. And as I said, we support all the initiatives because our primary interest is to ensure that there are flights into Dominica. And so I look forward to having a further discussion with the Prime Minister of Antigua and Barbuda on this. Now, on the digital economy, somebody has a question there. Good evening, PM. Any change in the PCR testing from 72 hours for those who are not regional? There are discussions on this, my friend, internally. Last time I was in the program, I did in fact indicate. Sorry, there's a call. Hello? Oh, we're having a problem? Can I get the callers on? Yeah. It's ending? We have to fix this. We spoke about extending the possibility of extending the requirement, the PCR from 72 hours to 7 days. Some countries have done so, 5 days, 7 days, 10 days. There's still a debate taking place within the Ministry of Health on this. And I'm hoping again that we can be advised on this. I am very careful, as you know, about imposing myself on any protocols submitted. I would like to follow very clearly and carefully the protocols, because one of the things that we have to prevent in this country is to have a second wave in Dominica. And this is why we want all of us who are traveling to understand, to be patient, to be understanding. We're doing this for your safety, for the safety of your family and the safety of our citizens and residents. We're saying that we have another call. A caller. Hello?
Yes, good evening, PM.
Hi, good evening. Okay. Welcome.
Hi, thank you. I'm calling from the U.S.
The U.S.
I am calling, yes,
Yeah.
yes. I am calling to say thank you for your good work. I am so proud to be a Dominican living in the U.S. Dominicans are so blessed to have you as our leader. May God bless you. And I am just so, so proud. I am considering returning home, and I believe this is the time to do it.
This is the time, darling.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, and we look forward to you coming back home. God bless you, and stay safe.
Yes.
We empathize with the American people with the challenges they're going through with COVID-19 in many of the states. America has been a great partner of Dominica. They've allowed so many of our citizens to call America home. It's provided opportunities for many Dominicans, including myself, by way of education. And so we're eternally grateful to the United States. So whatever they're going through, we empathize with them, and we hope that they can overcome this challenge. A phone call, please. Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello. I would like to talk to the Prime Minister, please.
That's. I'm here. Talk to me.
Yes. Good evening, PM.
Yes, ma'am. Good evening to you.
Yes, I'm calling in connection. Yes, I'm PM.
Yes.
I'm calling with connection of my roof.
Your roof.
My roof?
Yeah.
Yes, PM. I would like to get my roof to covered, please. Part of my roof is not covered.
Yes, darling.
And we are in hurricane season.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And I'm a very great supporter to the Labour Party.
Where you calling from? Where you calling from?
I'm calling from Kenfield.
Kenfield. Okay. I will send somebody to see you on Tuesday morning, God's willing.
Yes, PM.
Okay.
Please don't forget.
No, we'll follow you. We have your number, and we have a number, right? Let's get a number, and
Yes,
we'll call you after this program, darling.
Yes, I would appreciate that very much, PM.
Yeah. And if I get a chance, I'll come and see you sometime. God bless you, darling.
Yes, I'm listening.
Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you.
God bless you. Make sure we visit this lady on Tuesday with her roof and so on. So I was saying, is there a caller? Okay, the WhatsApp message. Good evening, PM. What is the cost of mandatory quarantine for Dominicans who got stuck in CARICOM countries since COVID-19? Well, I've been told that the cost of the quarantine, I believe, is $500 and something, $550. I believe I'll get the precise cost for you. But the problem we have is that nobody wants to pay. I mean, everybody wants to come and sleep in his apartments and eat some nice fish, fresh fish and fresh vegetables and ground provision that they have not eaten in so many years and months. And then they don't want to pay. I mean, at least pay something. You know, in some countries, they're now taking people's passports until they pay. And I don't want to get to a point where we have to confiscate somebody's passport so that they could pay the stuff. So I'll get the information for you, my friend, and I will give you precise information about the cost of quarantining. Thank you. Hello, caller.
Yes. Good evening.
Hi.
How are you, Prime Minister?
I'm very well, thank you.
That's good. I have a few questions. I'll try to be as quick as I can, but I ask that you bear with me with my questions.
Sure.
I am a Dominican residing in Canada, and I recently lost a brother the day before my birthday. And I have a question in regards to the 72-hour time frame. I know you just talked on it briefly, and you said that you guys are considering doing something about extending the time frame. That would be of great benefit to people like myself who wishes to return home to at least mourn with my family.
Yeah.
The 72 hours is just not feasible when the test results take at least 48 hours, like 2 days. So that's one. I would really appreciate if something could be done in regards to extending that. Also, it is a challenge because people who do not have Canadian health cards, the test results are available at no cost to them. They can do the test. However, the results take a while, and that's no fault to the, for example, students. Secondly, we cannot get to Dominica the same day. For example, I had a flight booked for the 30th of July, and 5 minutes after midnight, we got a message from one Caribbean saying that they canceled our flight. And we had to call Air Canada and cancel that end of the flight. Now, how are we going to comply with the 72 hours if flights are cancelled or they need air?
Sure.
And the 72 hours will extend beyond that day.
Okay. What's the second question, ma'am, please?
The second question is regards to flights not getting to Dominica the same day to accommodate people from the U.S. or Canada or England. As far as I know, one Caribbean is saying that they cancel our flight because they didn't have permission to land in Dominica. The other option is Air Antilles, but when I look online, Air Antilles leaves around 10:20 in the morning. That is not enough time for Air Canada to even land in Barbados for us to get that flight.
Yeah.
So we will be over the 72-hour time frame.
Yeah. Yeah.
And one last thing that I would like, on the questionnaire you guys have, it would be of great benefit if it can be tweaked a bit. By that I mean it says, have you been in contact with people with COVID? Have you entered any country? Yada, yada, yada. It said, have you done the test? You either say yes or no. If you say no, then you're in trouble. If you say yes, you did it, you have to submit the result.
Okay.
But we don't have it yet.
Okay, darling. All right. These are very important questions you've asked. As I said, I know there were meetings on the weekend by the health team and, of course, the Cabinet Subcommittee on COVID-19. I'm hoping I will get the recommendations this evening going into tomorrow. So I will await to see what advice that the Ministry of Health is providing to myself on the issue of the 7th day. Now, the challenge one has with the 7th day prior to travel is that if you get the results the first day of the 7th day, and then you go shopping and you go around the place and you move around on the buses and the trains, you can in fact contract COVID-19 during that 7-day period you're moving around. So it is a very delicate and sensitive matter, and I'm literally pleading to all of us to understand. And you know, we've facilitated people coming to the country. We understand people are stuck. We understand people have to come home. But let us work with each other so that we can find reasonable approaches to facilitate everybody who is coming in. And let us be constructive, and the lady is very constructive, and I appreciate it, and we'll take note of the comments on the application form and so forth. So we're looking at this. I don't want to make a commitment because I'm very careful about this. I'm very, very careful. So I look forward to receiving the recommendations and see what happens in respect to this 7-day or 5-day prior to arrival. But I do know that we have facilitated people who have not gotten the results, but these people have had to go into quarantine. So you can in fact come into Dominica without having taken the PCR test or not having received your results, but you will have to go into quarantine. As to how long you stay in quarantine, that's a matter for the Ministry of Health officials to determine. There's not a political decision I have to make. But we do facilitate people. I know we have facilitated dozens of people who do not have the results. On the issue of One Caribbean could have come in as a charter. We did offer them that privilege of coming as a charter. They had made an application for a license, but the license that they had with the authorities in Barbados would have ended on July 31. And what ECHA said to us was that we needed to get them to renew the license with Barbados before we in Dominica would give them a license to operate into Dominica. They did get that extension, and they wrote to us, I believe, on the 30th or the 31st, thereabout, indicating that they received this stuff. I have given the Minister for International Transport, Minister of Tourism, the authority to go ahead and issue the license to One Caribbean, and I'm hoping that they will do so by Tuesday for the latest with One Caribbean, so that the issue of license is no longer a matter of concern for One Caribbean. And we take note, as I said, of the point that you made. The issue again of the budget and the digital economy. You know, we in 2019, during the election campaign and my party's manifesto, we indicated the creation of the transformation of Dominica, the digital transformation of Dominica. And we went further by demonstrating our seriousness about this agenda by creating a portfolio. The first time in Dominica's history, creating a portfolio called the digital economy. And we embarked upon efforts to raise funds. And we engaged the World Bank. We worked with them on a program. They provided us with advice. We decided we wanted certain items included in this whole financing package. And there was in fact an increase in the amounts allocated to us by the World Bank. And so the amount now is $75 million. And this certainly, I am particularly excited about this because I see this as an opportunity for our young people to be able to be the architects and the engineers, the builders of this digital transformation of Dominica, because they, at the end of the day, are going to be the major beneficiaries of this investment. $75 million being invested to transform Dominica, to create better paying jobs, to create more jobs for people or young people who are to universities and looking for better paying jobs and increased opportunities. So I'm hoping that young people embrace it. This is why I've given this portfolio to Cassidy Laville. And I've given him, and he and Oscar George, as we saw in the program last week, last time they were here, I've given them a tabula rasa, a blank slate. Look, go ahead and take all actions you need to take to cause this to happen. Create your own cabinet, get the young people involved, get the young people to advise you, get the young people into the units and let them be the ones to take this over. This will benefit the whole economy. It will benefit the whole economy, but I believe the major beneficiaries are young people. And $75 million in a time of COVID-19, at a time when the world is going through serious challenges, this is a major investment and a major show of confidence that the government has in the young people of Dominica. Hello, caller, please. Good evening.
Good evening, Prime Minister. Darren Sylvester from London in England.
Yes, sir.
How are you?
I'm very well, sir.
I have two questions in regarding to your budget that you made earlier this week. The first is in regard to the land transfer fees for purchasing land and transferring fees.
Yes, sir.
In speaking with lawyers in Dominica, they tell me that legislation has to be passed.
Yeah.
And the window you gave is from the 1st of September this year to the 31st of August next year.
Yeah.
If the legislation is not passed in time, are you prepared to extend that period for land to be transferred or purchased at 5.5%?
Sure. And your second question?
The second question relates to the airport. I wondered if COVID-19 has impacted on the $5 million a month going into the fund. Can you elaborate on that for me, please? Sure.
Now, in regards to the land transfer fees, we have reduced it from 10.5% to 5.5%. And I believe it's a good opportunity for young people to be able to acquire property in Dominica, to own a piece of Dominica. Because I've always said to young people, especially those who come from universities and otherwise, look, you need to invest in a piece of land and to move towards building your home. Because that is a major, that's a basic need of human beings, to have a shelter. But I recognize that young people have the student loans and they are encumbered and so forth, and we need to find ways to allow them to be able to build their own homes. And so to reduce it from 10.5% to 5.5% in this time is a major plus for people. And I've received numerous WhatsApp messages, and also said to Mr. Sylvester that notwithstanding the fact that he is resident in the United Kingdom, he'll also benefit from this. You see, he can also benefit from this measure. Once the Prime Minister issues a statement in the Parliament in the budget address, it becomes law for a 4-month period. Then you have 4 months to go to the Parliament to amend the legislation, to change the legislation, because the budget itself becomes law, because it's an act of Parliament. After we go through the motion, we go through first reading and second and third reading of the budget, and those measures are contained in the estimates of expenditure and revenues. So it becomes law. So if I say August 1, it will take effect from August 1, notwithstanding the fact that the legislation itself hasn't been amended, because it is a budgetary statement And so I would have hoped that the lawyers would have gone further to explain to you that part. The issue of the airport, you know, it was the first government that has started to save money for an airport, which demonstrated the government's seriousness about the airport. And we were saving $5 million US every month for this airport. Obviously, we were hit by Erica, and then we were hit by Maria. And once the Chinese government had indicated to us a commitment to help us fund the airport, we, and of course, with the demands on the Treasury, with the impact of Hurricane Maria, with building homes, paying for students overseas, and not defaulting our debt. 226% of GDP impacted. Revenue stream seriously, negatively affected. And we did not default on our debt, not to one person that we owe by way of loans and so forth, and interest payments. And we've paid all our salaries on time. On time. And so we had to use some of those funds that were set up in the airport fund to meet our day-to-day expenses and to meet the cost of rebuilding Dominica, because there was a need for it and so forth. Sustain the NEP, for example, pay for the $800 a month for the allowances for people 70 and over, and to improve the health sector, to invest in agriculture, to invest in small business operations in Dominica. But I will say to you, Mr. Sylvester and others, that the fact that we have used monies from the airport fund and that we have not since then been putting the $5 million every month will not negatively impact the airport project. I believe that this is our time, and this may be our last chance to build this international airport. And I have faith in God that He will ensure that Dominica gets its international airport. I can feel it, I can sense it, and I believe it. And I think very soon I'll be in a position to even give the country clearer details about the airport and the commencement of the airport. Thank you very much for your call. It says, WhatsApp message here, hi PM, I would like you to elaborate more on the $10,000 grant for the young people who want to start a home or buy land, and what are the requirements for this? Biosh is listening. My dear people in Biosh, I love you very much. Wonderful people there, my family and friends. They're, they are wonderful people there. Thank you for your call, for your WhatsApp message and your question. And again, this is an opportunity for young people. If you're 40 years and younger, you can benefit from this $10,000 grant. And we're giving it to young people 40 years and under who either who is going to build a home or who wants to buy a piece of land. And what you need to show us is that you have commitment from the bank to finance the house, the construction of your home, and we will grant you this $10,000. We are finalizing the application forms, and I'm hoping that within the next week or two, those forms can be made available. The Ministry of Youth Development will be responsible for overseeing and implementing that very progressive policy of the government. And if you buy some land, you need to show a letter of intent and your willingness to buy the land from the person, and you can use that $10,000 to pay for the transfer fees associated with the acquisition of that land. It's a major hand up to young people, and I know young people are going to take advantage of this, because people are now calling landowners and say, look, I want to buy the land now, and people are asking me, look, Prime Minister, I've started my home, I'm on a foundation. Would I qualify for this 10,000? Yes, you will qualify. Once you can present to us that you have the financing and you can show that you're progressing, you will qualify for this 10,000. And it's a major plus, first initiative of its kind, which tells you of the thought process we put into this budget and our understanding of people and how people live and what are the challenges of Dominicans. So I can tell you, while everybody was with COVID-19 and people were locked down in their homes, I spent the last several months consulting people. I had numerous meetings. Sometimes I would have about 4 or 5 meetings in a week with different groups of people, hearing from them, sitting down with them and say, look, tell me what you think we can do together to make life better for you, to make your businesses more successful, to cause Dominica to grow and to be what we really want it to be. Let us close the gap of the unnecessary discussion. Let's focus on the fundamental issue of national development and what's going to be your contribution, my contribution, our contribution to the development. So a lot of these measures that are contained in this year's budget, like other years, came from consultation. And I thank God I have this characteristic, this trait of being able to listen, and to listen for several hours, and to hear from people. And this is one of the beauties of the job as Prime Minister, to be able to hear from people, ordinary folk, simple folk, on what they think the country could be. Another WhatsApp message, good evening PM, regarding young people getting land to build their homes. There are young people who are willing to build their own homes but do not have a job secured enough to get a loan do so, for example, at NEP. What can be done to help these type of people gain access to building their homes? I am seeking to formulate a special facility for the NEP people. And I intend to look at the Government Housing Loan Board and to see whether we can come up with some kind of special program, or even with the aid bank, where we could provide the aid bank with the funds and secure it so that the aid bank does not have the liability of its own, as its own. So it's something that I am aware of, my friend, and I know it's a concern for many who've met with me. But we're trying to find a solution to it, and I believe that that in due course we can find a solution to this, where the government can provide the funds and you could borrow from the Government Housing Loan Board. Obviously, I may have to amend the legislation where the Government Housing Loan Board is concerned, as we've done in the past, to allow you to have access to this. So we're mindful of this. And so I was saying about the digital economy, and I'm hoping that the Minister, Honorable Laville, could have a consultation with young people who are interested. All young people who are interested in knowing what the digital transformation of Dominica is, or digital economy is about, how can they participate, and their availability to be part of this process. And I do not want to sound like a broken record, but just to tell you that I am very passionate about this. I believe that if it's properly implemented, that we can see so many benefits to our country, and especially our young people who are desiring a better life and a better way of life in our country. And so the goal there is to ensure that advances we speak of will result in benefits to all sectors, and it will boost economic activity and business activity and improve people's lives. So there will be impact in education, in the way we do business, the way we transact business, and there are so many attendant opportunities and benefits to this effort. Any other questions there? Okay, no? And in terms of agriculture, I have never seen farmers so excited. And I am happy that that they are, because I'm a farmer myself. I was in the hot sun this morning. Watering my plants, and I know I hear from farmers. I speak to farmers, and the funds that are making available, the inputs are so helpful to the farmers. And farmers, by and large, are using the funds and the support that they receive properly. And I look forward to seeing a sustained success of these investments in years to come. We will take a break, a 2-minute break, and we will come back to you in a couple minutes, 2 minutes. Thank you very much.
My name is Steve Riquent. I'm farming in the height of Kolibisu by name Asukal, and I'm a farmer since I'm 15 years old. I farming on 18.9 acres of land in one area. Another area I farming on 5 acres of land. I plant yam, I plant pumpkin, vegetables, corn, sweet potato, watermelon. I have another area that I have mangoes. I've received a mist blower, I receive fertilizer, I receive hose, and I still expecting to get some other things. It impacted my life very good because to buy fertilizer is very expensive, and the mist blower is something I really wanted for when I have my vegetables, my pumpkin, so that I can use to spray because I plant a lot of it. The World Bank project is a very good thing because it helps a lot of farmers to develop themselves better than they would be able to if they had to buy certain things for their farm. So far I have 2 workers working this thing. One lower down working using a swiper, the other one did not come today. I market my crops through Hucksters and the local market in town, Rosa.
I'm Reginald Eli. I farm here at Glasgow, that's above the Font Collet. I've had the land for over 40-something years. I purchased it in 1976. Presently, we do mainly vegetables and livestock, poultry, to be more exact. Under the vegetables, we do quite a bit of it in the greenhouse, which we're under right now. And at one time, we did mainly lettuce. We've done it in boxes above the ground, simply again because we saw into the future in that. We're trying to avoid having to bend down on the regular beds. And secondly, another advantage of the boxes, the fact that they're raised, you can have them wider. And as a result of that, you have less footpaths, so you're planting more area than the normal thing. From after Maria, we got some damages with the greenhouse, and we haven't really got fully in gear with it. Because at one time we put out about 800 heads a week. What another thing we did, again, we started that about 20 years ago. We had gone into exotic fruits, and we had a variety of about 48 imported fruits. And well, Maria took its toll on that one. And I bargained for the bigger tools, like the brush cutter, the earth auger, chainsaw. So all of them can't come to mind, but basically I focus on the heavy tools. So basically this is what our life in Glasgow is right now, and I hope that in the near future we can really pick up the momentum we'd like to and carry on. And I can interject here with the president of the World Bank. That gives you the encouragement, and I hope the impetus will come in later on.
Welcome back. Thanks for staying with us. The numbers to call 611-3400 and 225-3400. 611-3400, 225-3400. And I was just saying earlier about agriculture. $67 million, as you know, have been allocated for agriculture. And we've been providing farmers with a whole array of support and based on the farmers' needs. And farmers are benefiting from this, and I'm happy for this. I also announced in the budget the National Abattoir. When we, with the help of Venezuela, and thanks to our friends from Venezuela for this major gift, the benefits of the abattoir are so vast. We have a call? Caller, please?
Yes, hello, good night.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, good night. PM, I'm calling from Buffett State.
Buffett State.
Yeah. We got a promise of a visit from you, PM. Been very busy, I imagine, and so really I'd just like to know when, if you're going to get that chance to give us a visit.
Yeah.
I think right now, the most important one for us is a visit from you, because even our farm rep thinks that would be it, that will be what it takes to deal with that problem.
Okay.
it's very big, and so yes.
Okay, I know I have many communities to visit. There's so many communities I would like to visit, and there's so many senior citizens I would like to come visit. From all across the country, and I have said to my office that I would like to put a schedule to go and visit some friends and some communities. So I'm hoping I can schedule a little bit probably very soon, my friend. Okay. I was saying about the abattoir. There's so many benefits. The farmers who rear these pigs and these broilers will benefit. Their families, the merchants who supply the feed, and our consumers. You having access to fresher, healthier meats. And I want to thank the private sector for supporting the abattoir and citizens. There's a growing demand for the abattoir. But the more people buy is the more we sell, and the more we sell, the lower the price will eventually get. And so it's important for us to support the abattoir, buy local, eat local, and we can see a multiplication of jobs. And we can see more money in people's pockets. And this is why we invest in the abattoir, to improve on the sanitary levels and conditions of the slaughtering and processing of meats in Dominica, but also to create additional economic opportunities for us. And this has been a major investment. This abattoir survived the hurricane, and then we're getting some additional funds from the World Bank to enhance the capacity and the operations of the abattoir. So there'll be a further, I believe, $2.5 million that will be invested in the abattoir to improve on the equipment and the operations there, so that we can certainly increase the capacity to process meats, both pork and poultry parts. And so what we're saying is that, and I don't believe the government should be involved in private sector activities. I don't believe that. And I'll come to this in a while. Let us take this caller, please. Caller, good night. Good evening.
Good evening.
Hello.
Good evening.
Hi, go ahead, please. I'm hearing you. Thank you.
Yes, I'm calling from Colio.
Colio.
Can I hear anything about the river wall for Colio, please?
Yes, darling. Yes. Yes, you tell me don't call. All right, river wall. Thank you. All right, I'll respond to you, river wall, in a while, my friend. I was saying abattoir. I don't believe the government should be involved in the private sector. But there's an opportunity for those of you who have gone to university. You have accounting degrees, you have degrees in finance, you have degrees in marketing, you have degrees in agriculture. Come together, form a consortium, form a company, and present the proposal to the government. You have the abattoir, you can start slaughtering meats the same day you sign the agreement. And make money and become rich. And you help the farmers become rich at the same time. So it is an opportunity. And what we're doing is to challenge the private sector in Dominica, because some people criticize, what's Skerrit doing for the job, what's Skerrit doing for investment, boy, I coming from school and so on, and with the opportunity. Here's an opportunity. Here is a golden opportunity for people to become entrepreneurs, business people themselves, and to make money for themselves and to get themselves rich. And we're going further to say, look, the abattoir will be leased to you at $1 a year for the first 5 years. We've had a proposal from a foreign company to manage the abattoir, but I would prefer Dominican own it. You understand? And so this cannot be this opportunity. We're telling you to go to the bank and get money. We're not telling you to go and put your house at the bank to get a loan and so forth. All we need to bring is your management skills, your marketing skills, and you are starting abattoir and you are making progress in there. So it's a major challenge. It's a good night, a WhatsApp message, a question. Good night, PM. I would like to know how soon the Eastern Road project is going to commence. Now, I am very happy for the people in the Castlebrooks constituency and the Salisbury constituency in particular, as you will be the major beneficiaries of this project. This is a $126.5 million EC project. And we have signed the contract. Obviously, we were held back by COVID-19. As we're opening up, we will start seeing movements there. So we need to hear from the contractor as to when can he come in, and hear also from the World Bank, because we also have a consultant, the supervisor, which is an external firm that has to come in to provide supervision for this project. We've asked that consultant to engage a local counterpart so that they can hold papers for them and be able to provide the supervision. So I believe all things considered, maybe September thereabout, but this is a major project that's going to dramatically improve the condition of the roadway from Bois d'Arbre there and the Emerald Pool area all the way to Hatton Garden. Through Atkinson. Let us take a call and I'll come back to the completion of my response. Hello?
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Good night, friend. How are you?
I'm very well, my friend. How are you?
Roy Mitchell, Mondos, good man.
Yes, Roy. Good night.
Let me tell you, Chief. I see you give the opposition leader speechless one. I want to congratulate your cabinet as minister, especially my parent, Akira, for this very thing. And we tell you guys, keep up the good work. It's not easy, we fight it, but we can do it.
Yeah. No, thank you very much, my friend. We have to keep fighting, we have to keep pressing on. We can't be daunted by these challenges. In every disappointment is a blessing in disguise. We have to look for the blessing, and we're looking at it, and God has provided it to us. And where there are challenges, there are opportunities. And I look at the glass half full and half empty. I do not have the luxury of being negative. Neither do I have the luxury of belabeling the problem. I am a solutions man. You tell me the problem, let us talk about a solution. And that has always been my life, and that continues to be my life as the Prime Minister of this country. And so, in respect to the East Coast Road project, $79 million from my Carolina friends in the Salivary constituency, Atkinson and Twizzle. $79 million of those funds, of the $126.5 million, will be spent in the Salivary constituency, which would certainly enhance, one, road safety in the whole of the Castle Bruce constituency and the Salivary constituency, but also enhance the opportunities for greater economic activities. Because once you have good roads, safe roads, people will come to visit. And we have so much to offer people in Castle Bruce constituency. We have so much to offer people in the Salivary constituency. And so with an improvement of the roads, they will come. It also means that it will enhance your property, the value of your properties in those parts of Dominica. And so when we have this road completed from the Emerald Pool area to Hatton Garden, and then we have the road from the Hatton Garden Bridge all the way to Borough Square, we can understand what happened. And then we have the Eolibla Highway, and then we will have the road from Lubert to Bacatel, and then we will have the roads enhancement with a bypass of the Gardens Gate there coming all the way down by the Lodge building so that we can transform the Botany Gardens into a pedestrian park where people can run around and enjoy themselves as family and so forth. And of course, I believe Chad will have his wedding reception in the Botany Gardens and take all his photographs here when he ties the knot. He told me it's December, and Daryl Teat also told me in December. So it is an opportunity for these guys to be able to have a reception in the Botany Gardens, and that's what we're trying to do, to turn it into a pedestrian family type atmosphere. And so one can appreciate these things. And so the money for this East Coast Road is secured. We have the money. We have signed a contract. We're now waiting for the commencement of work. Normally, when you sign a contract with these international contracts, they give you about 90 days for mobilization. And COVID has impacted it, but thank God we have reached the top of the mountain in terms of all of the administrative matters relating to the water contract. It has been a long process, but we are finally here. By the grace of God, we're here. And so this is $126.5 million that will be invested in the economy of Dominica, and in particular the east of Dominica. So to my Carolina brothers and sisters, I am so happy for you, and for the Castle Bruce people, I'm happy for you. And I want to say that both parliaments were very, very in touch with this and really pushing hard on this. Somebody asking the question, good night PM, read the apartments at Point Michelle. close to the Pori Park. How many will be built in the first instance? Also, what is the location for these units? It would be nice if the old estate location could be preserved for historical purposes. The first phase of the apartments in Point Michel will be lands adjacent to the playing field. We have to push it back and do less units because the people of Point Michel have said, do not touch the land for the playing field, so we respect that. And so we've had to put in less units in that location. I believe you will be able to get some 48 units with the lands adjacent to the playing field in the first instance. I have taken note of the issue of the historical nature of the estate house, but you know we have a challenge of land in Point Michel. And we have to be pragmatic and practical in terms of how do we go about utilizing lands and for what purpose at a particular time. But your point is taken. And just to say to our friends in Scott said, we also will be doing some 48 units in lands that we just acquired up in Savannah. I visited it myself, a wonderful land up there, and we'll be doing some 48 units as well in the first phase for the wonderful people of the Soufriere constituency. And also with the additional lands we're buying for the health center in Soufriere, we buy 1 acre, we only need 18,000 square feet for the health center, and the intention is to put some residences on the balance of the land there in Soufriere constituency. We have a telephone call, please. Hello.
PM.
Yes, sir.
How are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
Okay, I enjoy your program every night, you know.
I appreciate that, my friend.
Yeah, but you know me very well.
I recognize your voice.
Okay.
Yeah.
What happened is I have an invoice there for almost a year.
Was a year?
Yeah, almost a year sitting in there.
Okay, we have to fix that.
Okay, all
okay,
right.
So we have it.
Yeah.
I think we got your number, and we'll be in touch with you to clarify this matter. Okay. And thanks for listening every night, every Sunday night. I appreciate that. So just responding to your question about the Point Michel and so forth, and we have similar situations in the Roseau Valley. In Trafalgar, we're building homes there. We're currently building 10 homes or so in Cochrane. We also started opposite the grammar school, some residences there. We're moving to Pound. We have identified government lands in Canefield East for housing units that will be committing to 70 units there. Also in Massac, we have to acquire some private lands. You're talking to Wesley and Woodfordale. The people desperately need homes in Woodfordale in particular. Thank God we have some government land, some 4 or 5 acres of land that we'll be building some residences there. We're starting, I believe, with 30 in the first instance. Also in Wesley, the commitment to build some 70 with 30 in the first instance. Also to facilitate the airport project, then families that will be affected with their homes. And so the intention is to provide residences for some of the people who will certainly need homes as a result of the airport project. And in Bacatel, once the health center is completed, the intention in Bacatel, as you know, our discussion with yourselves down this last year, we have to relocate the health center, so the existing health center will be demolished once we complete the new health center. And we're utilizing the lands adjacent to the old health center site, including the old health center site, to build some residences in Bacatel. That's the only safe place we can find Bacatel to build, and we look forward to the completion of the health center and then the commencement of these units and so on. And there are many communities in Paybush and Calibishi that will be building homes. In the Canada territory, we have some 50 homes, funding already secured from the European Union, $10 million. We're about to receive the tender documents so we can start the construction of his 50 homes in the Canada territory, the Salisbury constituency. At Kingston, I'm hoping to have a meeting with the chairman and the councillors in Kingston very soon, so we can finalize discussions on the construction of homes. We cannot leave out the people of Kingston and Trizzel, and I give you a firm commitment that our promise to you is solid, and we'll stick to our promise to you there. And the list goes on and on. In Coliho constituency also, we'll be doing some homes there. We're finishing these 10 homes with septic tanks. I'm hoping that next 2 weeks people can move in. And so there are a number of positive things that will be happening where housing is concerned. And of course in St. Joe and Bells, we have to do some work in Bells, build some decent homes for the people there. Really need it. And so the list goes on, and I'm hoping that I can bring the Minister of Housing sometime soon, so he can give us more details on all of the plans for housing. So Austria, get ready for your time on Anupali so people can ask you questions directly. So, you have advance notice. And this goes on. Regards to, somebody's asked me a question on WhatsApp. Good evening, PM. I have a bachelor's degree in biology and chemistry. Postgrad, I have been actively conducting my biomedical research. I would like to return home to contribute to my country. Are there areas which focus on biomedical research or any future provision for a research facility on island? I agree with you that we really need to focus a bit more on research and development. We had started the process of developing a center of excellence, and we had made provisions for this at the facility at Stock Farm. We have made progress, but I'm not satisfied with the progress we have made. But people like yourself, I believe, would be well placed to help us advance those efforts and so forth. So you can reach out to us otherwise, and we can have a bilateral conversation on this. A telephone call, please.
Hi.
Yes, sir.
Good evening.
Good evening to you, sir.
Is this Anupali?
Yes.
What should I do?
You ask a question.
Because I hear anything still talking.
No, go ahead. But you turn off your radio or turn on the volume, and then ask your question or make a comment, please.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, he's like, all right, let me. Hello?
Yes, sir.
Well, he's responding to something now. He's not listening.
No, I am listening to you. Absolutely, my brother. So what you need to do is to turn off your radio or turn off the volume. And then
you come on after. Okay, great.
Okay.
All right, I have a concern. And this has to do with our students who were studying in the U.S. who, because of COVID, they had to return. But they continued this semester on online schooling. But now, since the U.S. wants to reopen school, they are insisting that the students return to the U.S. My concern is that regarding the COVID situation in the U.S., is it a wise idea? Is it safe that our students should return to the U.S.? Because I consider Dominica to be the safest place on earth now. And after we have spent so much money on protecting ourselves from COVID, and I want to commend the Minister of Health and the frontline teams for the job well done. So after we have spent so much money and so much hard work, I do not see it safe to allow our students to go back to that death situation in the U.S. And I was trying to suggest or wondering whether they couldn't keep that on hold until January. Let's see what happens, and then we'll allow the students to go back to the U.S. because they are offering online schooling to their students, the U.S. students, but they want our students to come to the face-to-face classes in the U.S. This I don't understand, and I am very concerned and afraid because I have a son who's one of the students, and I'm very concerned.
I recognize your voice. I know I was also, I met with some of you, but I was busy with the budget. I know some of the parents ask that I see that you meet me. You come from my constituency. I recognize. My advice to students and to parents is that there's no need to rush the brush. The situation in the United States is very serious, and the worst thing you want to have is for a child to be ill in the United States and to have limited insurance coverage and with all of the hospitals being overrun by people who are sick and so forth. A student sitting out this semester is not going to hurt the students in a dramatic way. I mean, your son is what, 20 years old, 21 years old? I mean, I don't think there's a need to rush the brush for you and your wife and the family to be preoccupied and concerned about his welfare and well-being. I think the children are better off there, and it's easy for you to get that to be done. You write to the school and say you'll sit out the semester, and there's a very simple administrative process for that. But the thing in the United States universities is that they need foreign students to be there to make money. They need you to come in to sleep in the dorms because they have arrangements with private sector entities on the dorms, and the dorms must make money. And the cafeteria, these are major lucrative contracts which universities have, and the universities benefit from this. And if we do not have international students there, they won't make money. And many of these towns rely and depend on the presence of the students for employment. Because a lot of these towns, in the case of Grambling, it is a university town. And once the university is closed, the place is as dead as anything else. And people's jobs would be in difficulties. And with 32 million people applying for unemployment benefits, if the schools remain closed, then those numbers will increase. So it's a personal decision you would have to make. I'm only giving you my sincere advice. That students should sit out this semester. Because you run the risk of the student going up there and you may just have one day or one class on campus and the rest will be online. And what's the cost of that? And I think I don't see any harm in we deferring or skipping or sitting out the semester. If the school wants to have the students, then they should maybe stick to the online classes so students can stay here and follow the classes in the United States. But it's a personal decision. But if you were to ask me my advice, which you have done, I would suggest to you respectfully that your son may want to sit out this semester. He's young. He's not going to die if he doesn't go to school this semester. But he will stay alive if he sits out rather than go to the United States and we challenge the United States. I want to also speak about the concessions and the incentives for small business, small agro-processors and manufacturers. I mean, this is a major plus in the budget for manufacturers, and I've also received calls from people thanking us for this. I mean, you're talking about the waiver of VAT and import duties on label materials, and also equipment and machinery. And this is a major plus for them. The import duty on packaging material is 20%, and the VAT is 15%. So, and the other cost, you have customs service charge of 1.5% and environmental levy of 4%. So you're going to have now 35, 20 plus 15, 35 person savings, which is more than that. But in terms of percentages, 20% import duty will be waived, plus a 15% VAT. So you'll only now pay 5.5% to the customs. So you're moving from 40.5% to 5.5%, and then you have the equipment, which is 15%, and some of them go as high as 40% in terms of equipment and machinery that you would bring in to the country. So I believe this is a great incentive that will certainly generate activity in these areas. Packaging and labeling are two important components of marketing, and attracting customers. And I believe that if we can improve on the quality of packaging and labeling, we can certainly take our products to the next level. We have hundreds of agro-processors in Dominica and small manufacturers, and I know at the time I read the speech, many of them were dancing for joy. And then we have reduction in duties and taxes on pleasure craft in light of plans to build a marina in Portsmouth and so forth. I'll come back to this. We'll take a short break of 2 minutes and we will come back to you, my friends. Thank you very much.
I believe the budget was, especially in the time that we're living in, I feel the budget was a forward-thinking budget. There are a lot of things in it for a lot of Dominicans, especially small business and stuff. Just that I just find the areas that the government like the aid bank where they put the money for small business. I find it's very difficult to, to get a loan, because I applied for a loan, a small business loan at the aid bank for like going on 2 months now. And I was just thinking a while ago, if, we're still, in spite of our borders shut down, we are still able to move about and manage, a little. And I can imagine if, the money at aid bank was able to, hit the economy a little quicker than it is, it would have a greater impact on it. But, generally speaking, I think it's a forward-thinking budget, and I think if it's implemented properly, I think it can, it can help the economy, especially in a time like now.
Yeah. All right. So this year's budget was probably observed with a bit more interest than usual, and I think understandably so, because we're in an unprecedented time. To give us some context of that, we saw what happened in the U.S. economy with a contraction of about 32% this quarter. That was the biggest dip in the U.S. economic growth in the history of the nation. And we can expect to see similar effects in our region and Dominica. So this year's budget takes on, as I said, a different type of importance in the minds of most people. One of the things that I was happy to see is the recognition by the government that when we have those trying economic times, that they need to step up and provide some support, both from a policy perspective, but also in terms of spending to prop up the economy. I shared some ideas that the Chamber of Commerce would have posed to the government in terms of support in that regard, specifically around fast-tracking projects that are in the public sector pipeline to the benefit of the private sector locally. And we were happy to see some language about that in the budget, and we'll continue to work with the government where that is concerned. Some of the broad themes that I was also happy to see was around manufacturing and the support in terms of some duty-free concessions for raw materials and labeling and so on. And of course, agriculture being a significant part of our economy, there was some broad policy support items for that. What I would like to see is somewhat of a marrying of the two. I've always advocated for agro-processing, for example, and what can we do from a policy perspective to push that sort of activity where we add value to those goods that are produced in agriculture and take ourselves further down the value chain so we can harness more economic value from the produce that we have in Dominica. In terms of things that have direct impact, I was happy also to see the reduction in taxes on land transfers. And I think what that does is not only increase the volume of transactions in that market, but it gives us a more vibrant secondary market. I think people ought to be able to enter and exit these transactions with less financial cost to doing that. And that will give us a vibrant secondary market. It also enables people who are probably below the line in terms of acquiring those productive assets to acquire them now. So that's quite positive, and one of the things that I think will be very impactful for the economy.
Okay, welcome back. Thanks for staying with us. The numbers to call again is 611-3400 and 225-3400. Thank you. I was saying about the pleasure crafts, and also the import duties and the excise tax exemptions on motor vehicles used by registered tour operator and taxi operators. I mean, we're reducing this thing from the 88% now down to 20%. So this is money that we keep in people's pocket because we're waiving 40% import duty and 28% excise tax. We have a caller, please. Go ahead, please. Caller, welcome.
PM.
Yes.
I would like to
welcome.
Know if you're given sponsorship to the people who applied earlier on in the year.
Yeah, I believe in respect to the Cuban scholarships, I believe that you may want to be in touch with the Ministry of Education. They should have made contact with persons who would have been successful. So I'm sure the Minister and the Permanent Secretary are listening, and they will take note and to provide information to the public. But I believe that the process has been concluded, and they should inform the public on this. So I was saying that 40% import duty will be waived on these vehicles, and 28% excise tax, making for 68%. So you move from 88% to 20% in a time of COVID-19, when the government will be trying to keep every dollar it can get into the treasury. A phone call, please. Hello. Welcome.
Hello.
Good evening.
Yeah, good night.
Yes.
This is Joseph Thomas from Penville calling over in Guadeloupe.
My brother, how are you?
I'm okay. How are you doing?
I'm very well. Nice to hear you.
Okay. Yeah, the budget, that was excellent. You did not another one in Dominica like that one, eh?
Thank you.
So I want to give all my congrats to the Labour Party for putting these things in place, and I know by your good work. So I say thumbs up for you all guys.
Thank you, my brother.
That is very, very, very great. And that was not no mistake, nothing. Everything went excellent, and I appreciate that.
Yeah.
So
that's
okay.
Joe.
So all the best and
Thank
continue the good work. I say tonight I have to call you to tell all the guys all the good job that all you're doing.
Thank you very much, my brother. Joseph Thomas is a brother of Felix Thomas and Isidore Thomas. Two of my schoolmates at the Vegas Primary School, and they would bring me copper. They used to have a copper house in Lower Penville, and bring me copper every day from Penville. Call up, please. Hello.
Hello, good day.
Yes, sir.
Am I talking to the Prime Minister?
Yes, sir. Go ahead, please. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Prime Minister, good night.
Good night to you.
Yeah, I've been trying to set up an appointment to meet and talk with you, but coming out from COVID and heading into the budget, you are very busy, man.
Yeah.
I'm trying to set up an appointment to meet.
Okay, I think we'll get your number and we will make contact with you, my brother, okay?
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah, God bless you then. God bless you. And then you go into, I was talking about the tour operators. I mean, and so these things are going to have a huge impact on the quality of vehicles that we have, and the service that we provide to the visitors and our residents alike. And this came out of the consultation. When I met these two gentlemen, for example, on my program, and they made that suggestion, and in further consultation with others in the business, they reiterated that very important recommendation. It says a good evening PM, there's a WhatsApp message, a WhatsApp question. Going back to the digital economy, will there be legislation for tax incentives to attract firms to stimulate our internet industry? The simple answer to your question is yes. We intend to go full throttle with this. I don't want us to just end there. We need to go full throttle with this and to place Dominica ahead of the rest in terms of digital transformation of our economy to create opportunities. And I said, I am taking a keen interest in this because I know and I believe that if we properly implement this and we are properly advised on this, we can certainly transform the way we do business in Dominica to the benefit of all of us. Telephone call, please. Hello? No. And the earlier point about the $10,000 for people 40 years and old and younger. A caller, please. Hello?
Yes, good evening.
Yes, go ahead.
Yes, PM, I want to commend you for a very good budget. I think this was your 17th budget, and I'm very happy with the very announcement of course, budget came under the theme. You had a very, very positive here. I'm sure let's look at my notes, but in fact, I'm happy with the simple tax system that you could implement for the small businesses and also for the young persons that can be at home. The reclassification of the, of course, the public service is very important. But certainly I was very much impressed with the tremendous input that was did with the budget, given the situation. And of course, the sporting activities, sporting complex, I think this will go well in Dominica. And certainly, I think from what I've heard from people in the national circuit, they seem to be very much impressed with that budget, with the road dynamic vehicle, very resilient. And this is very good. And indeed, of course, you highlighted the question of strengthening the fiscal discipline to build economy. I think all these international network, the road network, will all go well for Dominica in the not future.
Thank you. You know, and the caller has made a very good point about fiscal discipline. You know, and I'm a strong believer in solid fiscal policies, and I consider myself to be very, very generous, and I consider the Dominican government to be very generous. But we have also been very responsible, very, very responsible. And this is why we have been able to ride over this storm much better than people expected us to, because we maintain fiscal discipline, you know, and because we always said to people, you know, managing the affairs of a small country like ours, small island developing states like ours, is not easy. You are susceptible to exogenous shocks, to natural disasters. Things happen to us that we have no control over. In 2008, for example, we had the financial crisis. That wasn't caused by us, but we suffered the consequences. And this stayed with us up until 2015. And we survived. We survived the oil crisis. When the price of oil was skyrocketed, thank God we had this arrangement with President Chavez, Petrocaribe, and we were able to cushion the shortfall, the oil crisis. Then we had Ophelia in 2010. Then we had the trough, December trough in 2013, Erica in 2015, Maria in 2017, and then the pandemic. You know, I feel like I'm almost like I'm Job, you know. I'm being tested more than Job, you know, but I can't lose faith. I don't have the luxury of losing faith. You know, it's not an easy job. Just imagine those of you who have families and how challenging it is sometimes for you to address all of the challenges of your family. Now, I have all of your families to be responsible for in the country. But I don't complain, because complaining is not my style. I believe in, because leaders must not complain. Leaders must find solutions to people's challenges. And that's what we have done. And everybody who is a conscientious person, who is an honest person, who is a Christian person, or whether you're a Muslim or Hindu and so on, you're supposed to be honest, would accept that this government has been doing a pretty good job in managing the affairs of Dominica. And we've seen the results. But if we do not have to contend with all of these disasters, where would we be in this country? We'd be much further than where we are now. And just imagine if all of these disasters, all of these external shocks, we have made progress. Our country's economy has grown. And people, by and large, have remained in jobs. And those who have lost their job in the private sector, this government has found the resources to cushion the impact on their families. And in the time of COVID, when most people expected us to come and say we're cutting this, we're cutting that, and tax and this and that, we're taking off concessions and so on, we're giving out, we're giving. We're giving because we are a caring God. We understand how people live. We understand how people survive in Dominica. And so it is now left to you, the people of Dominica. You. It is not left to me. I have done my part by setting out the foundation, the structures on the ground, for you to be able to tread your track much better. What are you going to do with those opportunities? Now is an opportunity for us to be constructive, to be positive, and to see how we can take advantage of these opportunities to build ourselves, our families, our businesses, and of course the country. A telephone call, please. Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Hi. Welcome.
Yeah.
We are hearing you.
Hello.
Yes. Listen to. You may want to turn down your volume, my friend.
Are you hearing me?
I'm hearing you very clearly. You need to turn down the volume of your television or your radio and ask the question.
Hello?
I can hear myself in your background. All right, we have to cut this call up. We have to cut this call up because we cannot spend all the time there. When you call in, my friends, please turn down the volume of your radio or your television and simply ask the question. We're hearing you very loud and clear, okay? Because if you listen to your radio, you're hearing the feedback. You hearing me? There's a delay. It's a delay. And so you think I'm talking to somebody else and not you. I give you my fullest attention when you call. Okay? Thank you very much. And then we talk about the Dominican Entrepreneurship Visa Program. And people are asking, Skerrit, what's that? It's another phone call, please. Hello?
Hello. Good evening. How are you, sir?
I'm very well.
Okay, I'm happy to hear that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I hope you are well as well.
Listen to follow, I'm doing all right, yeah. Let me just compliment you, first of all, on the excellent budget that was presented.
Okay, so that's Boris Johnson there. Boris Johnson, originally from Woodford Hill. Okay. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. There is a little observation that I have, PM, that I was trying to call last week when you had Emily Puta and these other young people on the program. That is to do with the whole question of import and export. For example, Ms. Moses, if she wants something in America, and Mr. Uriel wants something in America, this person wants in America, they all order it in America, and then they have to pay individual packaging to come down. Whereas if they merge their resources together and put all their things together, they can order one big 40-foot container and bring it down, and they share the cost. And I believe the same principle can apply with people that in the whole exporting thing. So this guy who has the cocoa, for example, somebody who has vegetables, somebody who has other products, they can form the association and look for market outside in San Martin or Antigua or wherever it is, and they put their resources together and they export together rather than this person exporting by themselves. And I think it's something that I believe that the business places, the small business people in particular, can work together as a team, from an association, get your groups together, and start to do marketing together and importing together. That is just something I think that people should take up on board.
Sure.
PM.
Sure.
Okay. Have a good evening, PM.
All the best, okay? And stay safe where you are. And I was speaking about the entrepreneurship visa. It's an opportunity, another policy initiative with the government to seek to attract more foreign investment in our country. But not only that, but to seek to help existing Dominican business owners, to capitalize their businesses. Because many people, they would like to expand their opportunities, but they may not have access to the financing. And so what we're seeking to do is to attract people with money who can come into Dominica, either start their own business or invest in an existing business or go into a joint venture with Dominicans. So you must have the investment in Dominica. And then we would provide that person with a residency permit or residency status in Dominica. And I believe that if we properly implement it and market it, there are benefits to be had from this. And it is something that we've been talking about for some years now. And I'm happy finally that we in the government are advancing it. And I look forward to its implementation. We'll be putting a task force in place to help us fashion it and model it and have a private sector group managing it on behalf of the government going forward. Telephone call, please. Hello?
Hi, PM. Good evening.
Hi. Good evening to you.
How are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you.
I'm calling from the informative aspect, but I missed the call.
Yeah, I know. But we shall speak sometime soon.
Okay.
Okay?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, have a good night.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Thank you very much. I will see you sometime soon. I promise you. I have to come see other friends in Bells who have not seen in a long time, and we have to finish this road in Bells. I need to come and check, and the housing in Bells in particular. Okay? I need to visit Bells and so on. I promise you that. I promise you that. And it says, good evening, PM. Do you have any idea as to when our health center will be handed over in Vekas? What about housing for communities? Well, housing, as you know, we're building many homes in the Vegas constituency on people's private lands. And we also have plans to build some apartment-type structures similar to what we have in Bellevue and in Portsmouth. And in regard to health center, the health center is completed. We now will be doing the fencing of the health center. And we are waiting now the furniture and the equipment that should be here this month in August. So once it's coming, because we wanted to have everything new. We don't want to build a new health center and then carry the old stuff from the old health center into it. We want to have everything new. And so we have ordered these items. They will be here in August. And once they are all set up, we will have a formal handing over ceremony and blessing of this wonderful edifice as you come into the village of Acres, enhancing that beautiful village where I'm from. Caller, please. All right, yes. Please turn off your television, my friend, or lower the volume and ask the question. Welcome. A person is waiting for me to finish. And okay, I shall say nothing. Oh, the person is gone. Please, I really want to hear your questions. When you call in, turn off your radio or your television and we will be fine. Hello, caller.
Hello?
Hi, we're listening, we're hearing. I'm hearing.
5 p.m. when I can see you.
Oh, when you want to see me?
5 p.m. please.
Let me finish the parliament. Let me finish the parliament, and I will contact you. We have your number. We'll call you, my friend. Okay?
Wait. My number is 23559.
Boy, you got lots of people calling.
I really need to see you, please.
You got lots of people calling you tonight, eh?
Please, 5 p.m. Please.
Okay, we'll call you. Okay?
Please.
No. I make sure we call. Make sure. Please. I want to call this guy maybe tonight, because he seems to be. He needs to see me urgently. I think, by his voice. Make sure I call him after the program. Then we have the $30 million program over the next 3 years at 1% for small businesses. Now, I have said to people, we do not want to compete with the banks or the credit unions. But we believe that the banks and the credit unions, generally speaking, are not small business friendly. For one reason or the other, whether people are not paying their loans before, they're risk averse, and so forth, and we respect that. So I'm not criticizing any one bank or credit union, I'm making a general statement. And this is why we have come in to provide financing over the years, whether it's to NDFD or to the aid bank or through the small business unit. We have provided financing for the small businesses over time. This is the first government that established a unit directed at small business development. And so in my further consultation with small business owners, during the COVID period, I met with about no less than 80 small business owners. And I recognize that access to financing is a major challenge for them to expand, for them to sustain the business and to create jobs in the economy. And so we put in this 30-year loan facility over the next 3 years at 1% interest to lend to small and medium-sized operations in Dominica. And we'll be rolling out the conditions under which I'm hoping to meet with a consultative group again so we can fashion the conditions under which these loans would be granted to the benefit of the people. Yes, caller, please, welcome. Yes, people are very comfortable listening to this program, I realize. So you know. Okay. Yeah. Again, best thing to do, turn off your radio. We'll be fine. We'll hear you. I want to hear from you, and so on. A telephone call, please. Hello.
I recognize that access to financing and so I'm taking this 15-year loan facility over the next 3 years at 1% to lend and medium-sized operations in our land.
Yeah, and then so we also have the $32 million contract with funds from the European Union to construct 2 regional hurricane shelters. One in the Casabruce constituency, the village of Casabruce, and the other at Jimit. That's another $32 million to be invested in the economy. One can understand the trickle-along effect, jobs, procurement of building materials, food supplies, etc., in the economy. So that's another $32 million that we spent. And in respect to the health centers, there are several under construction, and another 4 will commence in the month of September. Newtown, Corliho, Soufriere, and of course Anzime is well advanced, and of course, the capital city of Roseau will be outfitted with a new health center to replace what we've been using for some time, the infant school, which is really should never be used as a health center, but we had no choice to use it as a health center. But there's no reason why we should be renovating this building. It'll never fit a health center. And then you have the Dominica-China Friendship Hospital progressing. And I want to say something about the Chinese and so on, to our people. And this is not politics to me. I want to caution people about a culture of ingratitude sometimes that we display in Dominica. Is somebody nice to you, my friend? Whether it's a country or an individual, you have to be nice to that person. You have to be grateful to that person. You have to pray to God that He'll bless the person will be blessed further so that the person will be in a position to help you. Somebody cannot help you, give you food, and then when you eat the food, you're trying to bite the person's hand. I mean, what kind of people are we? I mean, the Chinese have been here with us for the last 16 years. Whether you like the Chinese or not, you have to accept that the Chinese have been good to Dominica. Hundreds of our students have studied in China at no cost to them. Become doctors, engineers, architects, nurses. Paid for by the Chinese. The Chinese continue to invest in major infrastructural projects. You know, whether it's in Newtown Primary School or the stadium or the roads, the bridges, the hospital, and a commitment to build the internet to help us with the international airport, agriculture. You know, you name it, the Chinese have been good to the Dominica. And I see even in the parliament where people are attacking the Chinese for no reason. Instead of saying thanks, we are vexed because the Chinese have indicated publicly that they will support the international airport. We should be grateful. We should be thankful. Whether you support the one China, whether you support China or whatever it is, but you should support Dominica. And so this is why I don't play games with people. If you're my friend, you're my friend. And sometimes even when people are no longer my friend, I don't wish them bad. I pray the Lord bless them. And Dominica's case, in my case as Prime Minister of this country, in this government's case, we support wholeheartedly and fully the one China policy. I'm not compromising on this. This is not up for negotiations where I'm concerned. You understand? And we're not doing so because of what China is giving us. I don't do, that's not how I run my life. And that's not how I run the country. We don't support people because they give us something. No, we support them because they were friends. And in difficult times, the Chinese government has been there for us, and they continue to be there for us. And so as long as I'm the Prime Minister of this country, and as long as the Labour Party is in office, whether I am the Prime Minister or not, as long as the Labour Party is in office, and even if I'm not the Prime Minister of this country, the Labour Party will continue to adhere to the one China policy, and the government that the Labour Party leads will adhere to the one China policy. And we'll do so because we respect international law, and the international recognize that there's but one China. We'll take a break. I've been advised, I've been instructed rather, and we'll come back in 2 minutes. Thank you very much.
Some of the things that really jumped out at me, I will highlight, because you know the budget is a long process. Well, as you know, I would always have to include some sporting aspects, and I'm very happy to see that the indoor court in Massac is continuing. At one time I was wondering, what was the actual problem, but now, just last week I passed there and I saw the recommencement of work, and I went in there to have a look at it, and I think on completion it will be a tremendous facility, and it will help our indoor sports quite a bit, so I'm looking forward to the completion of that project. And also I was very happy to hear that in the budget there was specific allocations laid out for the facility, the multipurpose court, the multipurpose complex at Stock Farm. As you know, I have had quite a few discussions with other persons, with the Prime Minister on that. We have gone through many designs, so I'm really looking forward to the commencement of that, because it will really assist our sports. And we even going to have a full indoor Olympic-sized pool. I know some people had their reservations about that, but if we can get it, and because there are major concerns about the maintenance, but if we can get it, I think it will be a wonderful idea, and it will really regenerate the interest in our swimming in Dominica, because over a decade ago, just about that time, we had a very good swimming program, but over the years it has dwindled, and the last couple of storms and hurricanes have contributed to that decline. So now that we can have a full-size Olympic swimming pool, I think our swimming and all our indoor sports again will really benefit from that. So generally, as I said, there's always room for improvement. I will continue making my suggestions to the government, to the different ministers, how I would like to see things go. And I believe that we can continue in this light to shed more progress to Dominica, and I'm hopeful that this budget will be a kickstart to greater things for Dominica.
Well, welcome back, and I want to thank Billy Doctorow, the president of the DOC. I must say, since Billy took over the presidency of the DOC, we've seen much progress. I've been advised that they have bought their offices in Bath Estate, which is important, and he engages the government often. I must say, he gives a lot of blows to when he meets us at meetings. He's a sharpshooter and so on, but very, very constructive in that, and we look forward to working with the DOC to further expand and improve sporting activities in Dominica with the construction of the indoor sports facility, and of course the covering of the basketball court in Massac, and we'll be looking at covering Portsmouth and other regional facilities. In Pichla is a regional facility as well, and Paybush is a major basketball hub, and we're looking forward to covering this there so people can have matches even if it's raining. Collier Wall, I believe if you give me September of this year, we will start one of the sections. As you know, the minister went down there with the PAL rep, and there's an agreement on the section that needs to be constructed, and we look forward to commencing that section. Obviously, we don't have money to do all of the wall at the same time. We did the first section along the road. We'll do the second phase, the most difficult section, which has been identified by the minister and his team. And I believe if all goes well, we can commence in the month of September in this. The international airport will be starting to make payments to the farmers immediately after the budget is passed. We have an amount to pay the farmers for the crops, and also deal with the land swap for the homeowners there, the property owners, because there are some people who want to build and they want the land, and they've identified the lots, and we have the lots, and we'll be allocating those lots to them. And we'll also start compensating them for their properties. We're looking to commence, if all goes well, geotechnical studies as early as September of this year, which is the next step. And from there, I will be in a position to give you a detailed schedule for the construction of the international airport. Suffice it to say, it looks good. It looks good, and I'm excited about that. We have a caller. Caller, please. Okay, no caller there. The other area I would like to highlight for you here is the issue of the decriminalization of marijuana. Caller, please.
Good night.
Can you turn the volume down, please, of your television?
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much, Doc. Thank you.
How are you, sir?
I'm very well. Oh, that's my aunt. Okay. Yeah, that voice sounding familiar. Tuesday is your birthday, so I'll see you on Tuesday. I didn't forget, so I have a nice cake for you and so on.
Cake?
Yeah, white and gold.
I see you there, Papa.
Okay.
Tuesday's cabinet day.
No, it's okay. I'll see you. It's Tuesday. Okay? Thank you. Thank you, man.
Good night.
Good night. Bye-bye. All right. So that's my aunt, who is responsible for raising me, and she did a wonderful job, and she was always kind, and she still cooks for me when I go to vehicles and so on. And she, I think I'm starting to beat her with the cooking and so on, but she still thinks that she can cook better than me and so on. So we're talking about the marijuana. We are seeking to decriminalize the possession of 28 grams or less of marijuana, which means once the law is passed and we have drafted legislation is finalized. I was hoping to take it during the budget debate, but we have decided to go in September to do so and to expunge from people's records the stain of these convictions that they've had as a result of marijuana convictions. Telephone call, please. Hello?
Hello, good night.
Good night. Good night, sir.
Good night, Mr. Pierre.
Yes, sir. I'm listening to you.
I have the concern of the Canadian Melbourne battery area. I have been discussing this matter at length of this road. It's a 400 feet of road, flat road. We have seen some improvement on the back road coming down, and when it comes from that inside by it, it seems to me we are very unlucky in Dominica to get a little thing that have been falling for years upon years and years. I have spoken to many pilots. I think the only solution to this 400 feet is not a mountain, it's very flat, and we don't have much people living there to say we can have a community.
So that's a Melbourne battery?
Melbourne battery.
Okay. Okay.
Well, and I think the only person that can help us out with this road is you that will come up there and take a look at this road. My number is showing up on the screen here, and you can call me anytime. I'll make myself available.
Yes.
So that you could take a look for yourself.
No problem. No problem.
See what I'm complaining about.
Okay. Thank you very much. I know we've done quite a bit of road works in Kings Hill and Melbourne Battery, and one of the challenges we had on the back road was that we had a bunch of derelict vehicles there. And we almost had to surface the road around them. It's a huge challenge there. So we've taken note of this, and I give you the assurance we'll look at it, my brother. And thanks for recognizing that we had done some works in the other parts of Melbourne Battery and Kings Hill. But we take note of that, and your sincere call and your sincere concern. I appreciate it. We talk about the marijuana. So the first step is to decriminalize a certain quantity, and you will also be allowed to have no more than 2 trees per household on your property. And but again, we have to be very careful with people who should not have access to marijuana. And so the other issue of where do you smoke? You cannot smoke on the bus. You cannot smoke on the bus stop. You cannot smoke at a restaurant. You cannot smoke at a bar. And so work with us. Those of you who want this thing decriminalized and legalized and so forth, you have to work with us. Let us not be obnoxious going about it. True Rasta men don't go smoking in a bus stop and on buses. A true Rasta man will smoke in his own meditation in his house or his backyard on the mango tree, on the breadfruit tree, or by a river. And so let us follow the concept of Rastafarianism and the whole principles of Rastafarianism. Or you go to the tabernacle and you relax there and you meditate and you chant a psalm. Rasta man not walking in the streets of marijuana, is big spliff, smoking and so on. Let us stop nonsense. That's not a Rasta man. Smoke, you have the opportunity to smoke in the privacy of your home. You can sit on your porch. You can sleep watching your television and so on. When police come and you see you have 25 grams, you can't do anything. Okay? Going forward. So work with us. Let us understand that this is a process. This is a dramatic change. And let us work with us to ensure that we can do it right. Telephone call, please. That person must be in some disco they're listening to on Upale. Okay, let's go. Yeah, that person. So we have to work with us on this. So my appeal to us, let us work together on this. This is a dramatic change. Everybody's support of it, but let us work towards achieving the objectives. A telephone call, please.
Good evening, PM. My name is Steinberg Henry.
Steinberg Henry, greetings to you, my brother.
greetings to you.
Yeah.
Two things. One has to do with the Ministry of Broadcasting and its reach. I heard the Minister for Broadcasting speak about what the Government Information Service had been doing and made mention of DBS with regard to an outside and live broadcast. But I am just wondering who has to send the Ministry of Broadcasting a note regarding training for broadcasters. We would like to see more of that happen. I know the GIS has received some support, UNESCO and all that, but the general Dominica Broadcasting, Kyrie, Q95, say what you want, Vibes Radio, there needs to be some sort of overall training system. And I don't know if it's the Dominica Media and Communications Association who has to send that out, but I think it should be done about it, and that can be detailed at another time. The second thing, my passion, disability studies, disability services. I'm wondering, I see a great role for persons with disabilities in agriculture, for persons with disabilities in the digital economy. They may not be able to hear, but they can see. I see the fishing industry, they may not be able to hear, but they can knit nets. I see tourism, I see culture. I see urban development environment. The articulation, the enhancement, roads enhancement project, excellent. But I would like to hear articulated more the role, more bit about how the persons with disabilities find themselves into this fascinating system that you've established.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you very much. I know you're talking about that. Goodbye.
Thank you very much, Colin. These are two very critical points, and I'm hoping that that we can continue to benefit from your years of experience and the profoundness of your knowledge where broadcasting is concerned. And I see no reason why someone like you cannot, from where you are, provide some tuition to our current cadre of broadcasters and so forth. So we look forward to that and so on. What we're trying to do, Steinberg, in respect to people with disabilities, is to try to mainstream people with disabilities. And whatever we do, we factor them into this. So when you speak about the roads enhancement, we have taken into consideration people with disabilities. This is why we're covering the drains. The sidewalks will be one level. It won't be up and down. You know, is what I'm saying. And at education, we have a youngster from the Carnival territory who's at a state college. And people have access to education, which is important. These things were not prevalent back in the days. If you had a disability, you stayed home. You have people with disabilities at the workplace. I think it's a progression, a progressive move, and is an evolution. I think we need to move much faster on some things. And I believe that we're making progress and so on. And you're right, we have to mainstream. We have to mainstream the people with disabilities and ensure that it is accepted and understood. Whatever we do, they must be factored in. And the Minister, Dr. King, is very keen on this, very enthusiastic on this, and we need to work with partners like yourself and our dear friend from the Association of People with Disabilities. On geothermal, as you know, I indicated we had all of the funds for geothermal from the World Bank, from the European Union, from SIDSDOC. We had all of the funds required for the geothermal. We went to tender for the project, and the tender came back with a much higher tab than the funds that we had, significantly higher. And it was felt that we should terminate the bid process and revisit the designs of this project. We have sought advice, and the advice has come back to say that the idea of having the reinjection well in Loda is feasible, and that there's no need for us to have the reinjection well located in Wharton Waven, which will be a significant cost. And it's something that the government had drawn to the attention of the engineers at the time. Having had experiences with our hydro plant and the access to of those pipes through from the freshwater lake. So we have gone through the designs, and it's feasible that we do the reinjection well there. We're looking at different options to approach it. And once we finalize on these options, I'll be in a better position to give you more definitive positions on this. But the idea is to also look at whether a private entity would be better placed than the government to advance this geothermal project and so forth. I think we've highlighted a number of things there. The reclassification of public service, that is on stream. We have sent a proposal to CARICAD to look at first. We hope that they will be given the contract to conduct the exercise. And this, I believe, and many people believe, is the best route to go towards addressing the issues of the public servants in terms of conditions of work, in terms of pay, is to have a systemic change and review rather than these little pieces and bits and pieces of reform that we've attempted. And we hope that the results will reflect what we think it will. Education and training will continue to do so. For this past financial year, we spent about $16 million on paying tuition fees for students studying overseas. During this COVID period, we spent about over $5 million on paying students fees, and we continue to commit to our children, to our students. Water resource management, the number of projects going to be on stream, several millions of dollars. We have over 25 million, 22 million pounds from the UK government to help improve our water system and make it more resilient to natural disasters. We're talking about, as I said earlier, the reduction of the property tax. Housing, we have $117.5 million in the budget allocated for housing, 25 of that from the World Bank, 10 from the European Union, and the balance of funds will come from the proceeds of the CBI project. We are wrapping up. I want to again extend on behalf of the government of Dominica and on my own behalf our sincere condolences to the government and people of Barbados, and in particular the family of the late Prime Minister Professor Owen Arthur. I had the privilege of working with him, and I sought his guidance on many times on many important issues, and he was always very willing to provide advice. He was also very helpful during our austerity program. I recall when Prime Minister Petras was alive and there was a meeting at CARICOM, that Prime Minister Owen Arthur at the time was the first to step forward and say Barbados will provide a soft loan to Dominica in the sum of $10 million US, and he kept that promise. He was also very instrumental in saving Liat at the time when Liat was collapsing. He came in and he invested monies from Barbados Treasury into Liat, and that helped in large measure to sustain Liat for many years. And most recently, he was also the chairman of Liat. And so we pray that the Lord will bless his family, give his family the strength, his wife and his two daughters, and the entire Barbados community. I also want to extend sincere condolences to the family of the late Mali Peltier. Mali Peltier was an icon in tourism, and transportation. Has made a tremendous contribution to Dominica's economic development, and his loss is a great loss for Dominica. And I continue to pray for his family that the good Lord will bless them and keep them and give him the strength to do this loss. I knew him personally. He was a personal friend of mine, I could say, and always had some good ideas, good suggestions. Very, very much interested in Dominica's development, and a man who loved his country so much. And I want also to extend congratulations to the new president of the Republic of Guyana, Dr. Mohamed Irfan Ali, who was sworn in as Guyana's president earlier today. We had elections in March 2nd, and they were able to conclude the process on April 2nd, and he was sworn in today in keeping with the provisions of the Constitution of Guyana. I look forward to working with him on bilateral issues, but also within the CARICOM framework. Dominica and Guyana have enjoyed very friendly relations, and I look forward to working with President Ali. He is taking up his presidency at a very difficult time with COVID-19. But as we said, there are difficult times, but there are opportunities. And I'm hoping that he can work with the whole of the Guyanese community to bring the prosperity which the Guyanese people are awaiting. And we're happy for him that the process is over. And I want to really commend the Guyanese people for their patience and the demonstration to the world that the Guyanese people are a mature people. I want to share with you, before we leave, my newest pair of shoes. I just bought this on Friday, was it? I bought this from my friend's store. Let me get the name of the store. Where do I have it there? So you can get your pair. Some of you must have forgotten these shoes back in the days, but I have not. I have started using it. I bought it at Verona's Boutique on 3 Long Lane. That's just at the back of Royal Bank of Canada. But remember those shoes. So I use them. I go to the farm with them because they can get wet. They can, you know. So I bought 2 pairs, a clear one and this ice green and gold. I invite you to buy this as well and so on, because back in the days we had them. We used to make them Benjo shoes. Used to make them. They're very strong. And I remember back in the days, fellas used to, when they burst, you would take some fire and you would stick them up, or you would use some fish wire, the twine, and you would sew them. And this thing lasted. You used to get them from Guadeloupe as well. Very strong back in the days. But maybe young people these days don't know this thing, so I'm hoping that they can reintroduce them to these people. And the people who've seen me with them have gone and purchased theirs. And so you can visit Verona's shop on 3 Long Lane to buy it. It's been a wonderful program. Nice talking to you. I am happy for the questions that you've posed. I look forward to speaking to you next week. I'm hoping I can bring possibly the Minister for Housing, because I know housing is a major topic of interest for so many of you who need your homes fixed and improved, and you need new homes, and you want to know about the apartments, how do I get one? Or you applied and you haven't heard from the Ministry of Housing, what is happening, what's going to happen. So I will bring the Senior Minister, Honorable Reginald Austri, Minister for Housing and Urban Development, next week Sunday. And I may bring for 20 minutes the Member of Parliament for Rhodes Central, who will share with us the plans that she has and the government has for Rhodes Central. I didn't tell her so before I left, so she's hearing for the first time. And so she will be on next week, Sunday, God's willing. And then I will have the Minister for Housing. Thank you. God bless you. Enjoy your holiday tomorrow. Let us make use of the various Dominica sites. You know, I see a lot of people making use of it and rediscovering Dominica. That's important, and the staycations and so on. But be safe on the roads, and let us avoid littering. When you go to these places, what you bring, go back with, okay? And let us keep our country clean and beautiful. Thank you. God bless.
We are in the hurricane season. Here are some tips to keep your families and communities safe. Before a hurricane, ensure that you know your emergency shelters. Contact the Office of Disaster Management for information on shelters closest to you. Have disaster supplies on hand, non-perishable canned food and water, portable battery-operated radios, flashlights and extra batteries, essential medicines, first aid kits, cash and bank cards. In the home, protect your windows. A low-cost approach is to put up plywood panels. Trim branches away from your home and cut all dead or weak branches on any trees on your property. Check into your home and auto insurance. Confirm that policies are valid and coverage is appropriate. Make arrangements for pets and livestock. Develop an emergency communication plan. Make sure that all family members know what to do. Teach family members how and when to turn off gas, electricity, and water. During a hurricane watch, listen to the radio or television for hurricane progress reports. Avoid open flames such as candles and kerosene lamps as a source of light. If power is lost, turn off major appliances to reduce power surge when electricity is restored. Store drinking water in clean jugs, bottles, and cooking utensils. During a hurricane warning, if you need to evacuate your home, lock up and go to the nearest shelter. Take blankets or sleeping bags to the shelter. Listen constantly to a radio or television for official instructions. Store valuables and personal papers in a waterproof container on the highest level of your home. Stay inside, away from windows and glass doors.